Today is a very special day. I went to the store to pick up some New York steak strip because me and Kiki are celebrating reaching 10,000 on TikTok. Small achievement, but it still means the world to me. I couldn't do it without her though. This is basically the Kiki show at this point. I let her inspect the steak before I actually start cooking it. You know, I've never really talked about why I actually have Kiki in the first place. After my last cat passed away, I swore I'd never get another. By the way, her steak is being seasoned with cat vitamins. But after 2 years of being catless, I just felt empty. I was ready to try again, but I knew I'd never have the same connection with another cat. And I'm not a dog person, so that's not really an option. My best friend knew I needed a cat, so she sent me this listing on Craigslist. I still have a screenshot of the original listing. It seemed too good to be true, honestly, so I reached out to them. It turns out Kiki had actually hospitalized a 3-year-old. Hard to believe that such a sweet queen would ever do such a thing, but even queens can rule with an iron fist. Also, keep in mind, Kiki's not a regular cat. She's part wild African serval. So after I saw the listing, I looked a little more into her background. This is her mother, Azelle, a first-generation Savannah cat, and her father, King Julian, an F5 Savannah cat. These two cats were bred to make Kiki. Take a close hard look because these are the only baby photos I have of her. Kiki was reserved at just 3 weeks old, but the breeder actually misgendered her, listing Kiki as a boy. This post goes on to explain that the people who reserved her actually wanted a male, and when they found out she was a female, they didn't want her anymore. By the time the breeder actually realized she was a female, she was too old to be adopted. No one wanted her because most people want kittens. The breeder had a hard time finding a new home for her. All of her siblings were adopted, but she was the only one listed on the website. So she stayed with the breeder for about 2 years, and at this point she was heavily discounted. And that brings me to her previous owners, which were kind, loving people. I don't know if they saw that the breeder preferred there to be no young kids in the family, but regardless, they had a young kid, a 3-year-old to be exact. And as she was trying to pick her up, Kiki scratched her in the eye, sending her to the emergency room. I can only imagine how traumatic a moment like this would be, but they did the right thing by putting her up for rehoming. When I reached out to them, they were actually considering another buyer, but since my social media presence was growing, I told them I'd make videos of her and keep them updated on her every day. Kiki had a loving family, and as tragic as her story may be, her previous owners at least know that she's in good hands. Besides that, there isn't much else I know about her home life, but I did want to talk about this because I don't actually think it's right for some people to have wild cats, especially people with young families. These cats are extremely high energy and high maintenance. They need a dedicated owner that can spend most of their time caring for their needs. I do not recommend adopting a Savannah cat. I'll admit I didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into before I got her, but I couldn't be more prepared for the challenge. Anyway, this video was supposed to be about the steak. It turns out she only likes it raw.